Welcome to We Keep It Moving, WKIM Media Network. And I am so excited about our guest tonight. Tonight's guest is a dear friend of mine, Dr. Eric Kelly III, and he is the godfather of Black Business Expo, which is amazing. And this interview is not one that you want to miss. You probably need to call up everybody and have them turn it on because this is really an opportunity to learn about so many different things that this man is doing with interviews from around the world. The godfather of Black Business Expo, Dr. Eric Kelly III, is an influential African American businessman. He's an artist, humanitarian, author, and innovator who is considered the godfather of Black Business Expos. Some of his accomplishments included serving as the director of the Eric Kelly III Museum, which is one of the few museums named after a Black artist in the world. The museum was created by his great grandfather, Henry Stansel, in 1962 and is still functioning as a place for collectors only to buy his artwork today. He's a retired CEO of Kelly Worldwide Branding and Marketing Agency, and he received an honorary doctorate of humanitarianism from the Global International Alliance. Dr. Kelly's notable awards include MED Week, Minorities Business Advocate of the Year, the Durham Links Artist of the Year Award, UDI CDC Entrepreneur Award, the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from President Joe Biden, the inaugural Juneteenth Hail of Fame Award from Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. However, all of these awards pale in comparison to his life's goal of impacting the business world through economic justice. At the core of his approach to connecting Black businesses lies in the idea that to succeed, Black businesses need to put their vision first and the well-being of their people rather than just the bottom line. By implementing Kelly's people service centered theory, Black business owners and managers can build a sustainable and nourishing work environment that benefits their company's long-term growth. Using his extensive experience as an advertising innovator and serving over 40 years impacting more than 10,000 business owners are a testament to his genius. Dr. Kelly has led the largest Black Business Expo in North Carolina for 35 years. When COVID-19 happened, he founded the Black Business Olympics. The goal of the Black Business Olympics is to raise scholarships and funds for students who are graduating from high school and going to college. In addition, after 3 years of presenting the broadcast, it has become one of the largest Black business virtual global events in the world. The Black Business Olympics has showcased over 2,200 businesses globally in the last 3 years. His creation of the Black Business Olympics is a tribute to his continual service to the Black businesses while connecting Black people around the world. There is so much more. You have to and subscribe to the newsletter to get the rest. But let's just bring the man himself, Dr. Eric Kelly. Hello, Dr. Kelly. How you doing? How are
Hello,
you?
how you doing? How are you doing? It is always an honor to be in your presence with the great things you continue to do. I've been watching your show from time to time, and you bring on so many outstanding people. And when you was reading about me, I was scratching my head. I said,
What you
"Is
talking
that
about?
really me?"
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
and I do want to say, being on your podcast is one of my true honors as I continue to serve. That's what it's all about for me, is service. And I think
Mhm.
many times when you look at Black Wall Streets of the past, you'll understand that most of these Black Wall Streets that we had in the past, they were about service, and they were servicing each other because it was a segregated time. And after the bombing and the burning and all those things, now where are we today? And the Black Business Expo has been a testament to continuing not trying, but working to keep business owners together.
But let me just say this to you because it's really amazing to me. I had never expected what you were talking about. There's one thing to read it in a document and another thing to be a participant and to see the level of people and the numbers of people that you're interviewing. Can you just talk about one when you started it and the growth is outrageously now? It's huge.
Well, you know, I tell people all the time, you cannot surround yourself with people who don't believe in what you believe.
Mhm.
When pandemic hit, I was sitting there and I was wondering what was I going to do. You know, I called the hotel. We were doing the Black Business Expo every every November. And so when it happened, the question was, what are we going to do? And so many of our people was they were doing weekend events. And so what I said to my moms was, we ought to do something a little bit better because people are already at home. And we ought to do something and call it the Black Business Olympics, where we do 7 whole days. And as I said, when I said that to my moms, she said with a twinkle in her eye, then you need to do it. And so I started asking all of my friends, and many of my friends were saying to me, don't do it. It's not going to work. The attention span is short. People are not going to look. People are not going to listen. But you know, when you get something on your mind that you want to do, you have to follow your vision. I remember a guy by the name of George Washington Carver who had a peanut, and people said that, hey, you just have a peanut. And then he did over 300 products. And then, of course, Madam C.J. Walker, who in a time of slavery, she was a she was a visionary that was one of our first millionaires, and I'm sure people told her not to do it. And so with what I was doing, I started calling on people, utilizing my network, utilizing the different social media formats, and I intentionally started to do it from 10 in the morning until 4. But when I started calling people, people started hitting me up and said, I could do it this time, I could do it that time. And lo and behold, we had 7 days, and each one of those days were broken down into 7 different themes. On Monday, we do business empowerment. On Tuesday, we do advertising, networking, marketing, sales, and merchandising. And then on Wednesday, we do 64 ways to do business on the internet. And then on Thursday, we do diversity, equity, and inclusion. Friday, we do Generation X versus Generation Z, the young people with the average age in this country being 28. We had to do that. Then Saturday, we do Black business and the culture. And Sunday, we do the state of Black business in the future. And so that's what we've been doing. And we did in not last year, and you know, last year just left. Um, in 2021, we did it quarterly. So we did 4. And then last year, we did 6. And this year, Marcia, we're going to do every month. And we started out with 38,000 people coming. Then our next one in 2021, we have 48,000, 150,000, and 350,000. And so last year, we had over 10 million people to see what we're doing. And now we're on Hulu, Roku, and several other independent streaming services all over the globe. It's one of the places where you can come, and our anchors are from Australia. Our speakers are from Africa. It is a global network, as we utilize the network to go out to over 200 countries.
Oh, thank you. You know, it's always nice when your guest can help you co-host and play with the buttons. But you know, I think it's you know, that's what friends are for. And but it's huge. And I've been delighted in just spending time watching some of these speakers. And let's talk about that because you're always looking for speakers and sponsors to participate, but you can actually come in and talk about your business and what you're doing, or you can have a speech and want to deliver something that is obviously going to be helpful for students, for parents. You go everything from business to medicine to college to corporate to there. It's a whole array. And the thing that I think that excites me, the little country girl from Indiana, is that they're black people.
Yes,
These are some of
yes,
the
yes,
baddest black
yes.
people in the world.
And you know, Marshall, one of the things that really, really got to my heart, you know, because The reason we do it is to raise scholarships for students. My mom's said back in 81, I went to school on art scholarship. She said she saw the change in me and she wanted to make that happen with other students around North Carolina. And we have some, oh yeah, we have some of the top speakers all over the globe to speak. And the level of information that they give is just phenomenal. And as I was saying before, I do a lot of Zooms during the week of the expo, and I had a Zoom full of kids. And one of the young kids asked me a question in the Zoom meeting. He said, "Where did you get all of the Black business owners?" And I had to look at him, and I felt a little sad because our kids don't really realize how many Black businesses there are. And I said to him, the Black businesses have always been there. The media doesn't cover the Black businesses as much as they cover crime and alcohol and dancing and basketball and football. And so that's one of the reasons that I really find it a great joy to be doing it.
And it's huge. Too often we are in these little silos, and we know what's happening in that silo, but we don't know what the other silos are carrying. We don't know what the other silos are doing, and the impact that they're able to do in whatever they are growing inside there or hosting inside that silo. It has to come out at some point. So if
Mhm.
you've got a silo full of corn or you got a silo full of seed, at some point the farmer has to take it out or it will rot. And that's what we have to do. We can be in our own environment, but we don't have access, or we don't have the money, or we don't have the capability, or we don't have the support system. You think you have the support system, but then the support system isn't there, right? And so
Yes.
you've got to figure it out and make it happen. That's, make it happen. Keep it moving is my motto. Just gonna keep it moving. And so, how do we sit back and not pay attention to this program? I would recommend to all of you who are listening, and I know we're still building up, everybody's on vacation, but we need to be able to, when you watch this on whatever the platform, make
Mhm.
certain you take a piece of paper or a pad of paper and a pen and take notes, because you know what? The intellectual property, if you were to have all of these speeches and we're gonna have an offline conversation about what just came out of my head, man. That's what we're gonna do. And it's huge. It is huge. I remember when you first told me, and I got on there and I just started, rooting around and seeing where I was and who's doing this and sitting
Mhm.
on this one and listening to this person, and this person's got this business I'd never even heard about before. And so we are far too often, and I'm in Baltimore, you're in North Carolina, and
Mhm.
Durham, right? And
Yes.
so you're in Durham, I'm in Baltimore. But how often do we really get to see Black businesses up front and close and personal? They're
Well,
going to something that is an organization that is primarily for that particular sector of business. They're the doctors or the lawyers association or the this association or some other. This is a holistic approach to every type of industry, with the people who are making it happen and making money, selling product, making money, or selling services, making money, changing their family's life and changing their community's life. When I would just like for you to share at least a couple of the special things that, or special conversations that you may have received after somebody has already spent time for the first time on your platform. Can you share that with us?
well, the first thing that people say is this: I cannot believe what happened, because we look like a television show that is being broadcast in a way where people actually get a chance to talk about their products and their services. And when you begin to think about their products and services and the kinds of businesses that they do, the way it's set up is set up like a business plan. So when you begin to talk about, you need to get your pencil and a piece of paper. If you are looking for inspiration, this is an opportunity for you to listen to people who have been inspired to want to run Fortune 500 companies. When you begin to think about, okay, I got the idea. My great grandfather used to say, put the vision first. Okay, now you got that vision. Now, from that vision, now it's time to figure out what is your brand? What is your why? What is it that you believe? And so on our Tuesdays, you get advertising, public relations, marketing, sales, and merchandising all day long, which gives you an opportunity as a business owner not only to study, but to listen to people who have done it. And then on Wednesday, many of us don't have a lot of capital. And so on Wednesday, you get an opportunity to just really see how to do and market your company on the internet. And what I mean by that is you get a chance to see what really an email or a drip campaign is. You get a chance to see what your website needs to look like. You get a chance to listen to people who do it all the time, every day. And that's important. And then on that Thursday, some people call it Women's Day, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and you get some of the most powerful women. One of the ladies that's been speaking, Tammy Hall of the HUD office in North Carolina, who comes on and she breaks it down all the way down so you can understand what historically underutilized businesses are and what they're up against. And then Friday, when the youth come, if you're an old person like myself, or should I say a seasoned person like myself, you always want to know, what are the young people doing in technology? This gives you an opportunity to learn what's going on in technology. And then on Saturday, of course, Marsha, on Saturday is Black Business and the Culture. If you've written a book, if you want to talk about health, if you want to talk about food, this is that opportunity. And then Sunday, Black Business, the state of Black business, and Black Business for the Future. So it gives people a chance not only to watch all week, but it gives them a chance to just look at, what am I doing with my business? How am I taking my business to the next level? And Marsha, yes, we are looking for speakers. And for those of you who have never heard of the Black Business Olympics, let me play a clip right quick, if that's all right with you. Marsha,
yes.
Come on.
Okay. Do we need to do it so you have 3 windows?
No.
Well, you're going to do all that? Let me just sit back. I'm going to be quiet and still. See, that's why I like my friends. They know that I have certain limitations in certain areas. And I just, yield to the boss over here.
Well, let me play. I'm going to play the speakers call, because we're looking for speakers. And it'll give people an idea of the level of work that we're doing. Because many times when you hear somebody talking about something, okay, I hear you, but I don't see nothing. Mm-hmm. And for those of you out there, you can actually go to YouTube and go to Black Business Olympics and see us right now. With no further ado, thank you so very much, Marsha, for allowing me to share with you.
Prepare for what's coming and dominate in economic winter. Stand strong and thrive by showcasing your great products and services globally through the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Network has showcased over 2,000 companies with over $7 billion in sales each year. Over 10 million attendees have viewed the rebroadcast each month. Through the Black Business Olympics, unique styles of business training and mentoring are turning students into business owners and entrepreneurial warriors who will dominate in any economy. Gain the ultimate advantage of the Black Business Olympics, 7 days of unbelievable topics and speakers speaking around the globe. Donate your time and experience to provide expertise and scholarships to students worldwide and change the world. Now, more than ever, new insights, tools, strategies, and capabilities are needed. This is your chance for a major presentation to the world. Fill out the form and join the more than 2,000 speakers who have presented to over 200 countries. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pod TV, IBM TV, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Sign up today. Spaces are limited, and we will see you there.
Yes, that's what it's all about, Marsha.
I love it. That is so exciting.
And for those of you out there who are looking to speak, you can always email me at erickelly45@gmail, or you can call the Black Business Expo hotline, which is 919-308-9090. And one of the things that I continue to say to speakers out there, many of them ask that question: how much does it cost? It doesn't cost you anything. And Marsha, when you was talking earlier, one of the things that I oftentimes want to say to people is this: we as a Black community have got to stop acting like we own the information. And what happens when we act like that, then we go to our graves with the information in our heads, which means our legacy, which are our kids, as my great grandfather used to say, if you don't value your value, then your value will not be valuable. And what he was saying is, if you don't value the kids today, then the kids are not going to be able to do what's necessary. Because if you think about it for a moment, we hear about reparations, and there were 400 million slaves here. If you, I'm not going to say when you give 400 million slaves 40 acres and a mule, and you look at where this country is now, this country would have been transformed.
Right.
Each one of those slaves represents over $400,000 and a brand new car. If we had that to happen to us as a Black community, could you imagine the change that we would have and the transformation of this country? Because you can go some places in Nebraska where you can see cornfield for days. You can go some places in North America where all you see is land. So I always submit to people that the Black Wall Streets that were destroyed are still here. They're just fragmented. They are just fragmented all over the internet, fragmented all over the world. And the Black Business Network gives people an opportunity to come on the network and share information all over the globe. You know, we have our people that are presenting from Australia, from DC, from Las Vegas, from Jamaica, from Belize, all the different places all over the country. You know, there are 237 countries in the world. We broadcast to over 200 of those with some 2,000 speakers who have already spoken. And by this year, doing it every month, we'll have about 3,500 speakers who have spoken, which means that there's a thirst for Black businesses. There are Black businesses all over the world asking the questions: how do I participate? And what my whole vision is to do it live 365 days of the year.
And I think that's admirable and also possible because you already have created an infrastructure. One of the things that you said that made me pause in talking about, Black Wall Street and what that represented in Kansas, but what it represents around the world. Particularly with the United States in dealing with African American men and women, businessmen and women, I submit that we need to start making those, while we still hold, the internet dear, there still needs to be an environment where Black businesses should be creating our own malls, that Black businesses need to create our own Wall Streets. We need to go back to we can't let go of the internet because it's with us for forever. But there are those of us who still like to open up that door and go into the store. It's a wonderful experience. And we should have that. And I submit that it's important for us to really think about how we do that and identify the first 5 cities, the next 10 cities, where the Black Wall Street gets recreated physically as well. I sit down and I look at, we've got some Black businesses over here. I was down in this little area here in Baltimore, and it's called Fells Point. We got one little Black lady over here. We got a Black artist over here on another street. You got to figure out where we are, right? And it's a neighborhood, but we need to take over those spaces. And when you look at those buildings, and they're 2, 3, 4 stories high, if we took over and started working together in concert with one another and work strategically, we can create what we need to empower our own communities. And that's around the world. The other day, I was interviewing somebody or several people. I think I had 9 folks from the World Ebony Network. And we had people from all over the world, primarily, I'm on that board, but most of our members are from Nigeria. And there's a whole thing. Then I've got another friend. She's over there in Ghana. She has the Bluffajo, and we're going to talk about her because we're going to submit her to the program. But Bluffajo, we're sitting here. She's got a cosmetic line, Black woman. She's going over to Ghana and teaching the women in Ghana how to sell her products like Avon.
Well,
right?
Yes, but see, that's the deal, Marshall. We have to, again, become patient with each other. Mm-hmm. And when we go into a Black business or we found out about a Black business, we need to begin to do what we used to do. What we used to do is we used to care about each other. Mm-hmm. That is the challenge that we have today, is that we watch the news media, we listen to the radio, we read the newspaper, we go on the internet, and it's always we're striking against each other and we're not pulling together. While in reality, there are many business owners all across the globe that are pulling together.
Right.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I started this piece and the people were telling me it wasn't gonna work, why are you doing it? Now you're going crazy.
The naysayers.
I thought about Ted Turner. And Ted Turner said to everybody, hey, I'm going to do an all news network, a 24-hour news network. And everybody said, Ted, is not going to work. You country hillbilly, is not going to work. And when you look up today, every NBC, ABC, every network has a 24-hour news network. So his vision was his vision, and he kept his vision going. And so when you look at a Steve Jobs, who had the app, I think it was the iPod. He had the iPod, and everybody said, leave the phone alone, Steve. Steve said, I'm going to make the prettiest phone until you're going to want to lick the phone. And so he did. And look at the iPhone. We're in iPhone 14 right now. Now, Marshall, 14 years ago, think about what I'm saying. 14 years ago, better yet, 15 years ago, we did not have an iPhone.
Right.
This is how fast that things are moving in our universe as people. I said 15 years ago.
That's fast, man.
Yeah. So
the world changed.
It not only did it change, more importantly, we can change it that much rapidly. When you go on the Black Business Olympics and you're looking at speakers who are from Belize, and you're looking at speakers from Australia, and you're looking at speakers from different parts of the world, and then different parts of North and South America, and then Jamaica, and then you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, are you mean to tell me that we got Black folk all over the world doing business? Yes, we do. And another thing, Marcia, January the 16th is Martin Luther King's birthday. Mm-hmm. Where he was born on January the 15th, let's be correct, but they're celebrating it on January the 16th. And if you remember the Montgomery bus boycott, was 18 months.
Mm.
Before he was assassinated, was 18 months. It was the first time in the history of this country that money was stopped in the transportation business. And so this Monday the 16th, if Martin King was alive, I am sure he would be celebrating what we're doing with the Black Business Network, because we are continuing his work of
Yeah.
showing and showcasing and highlighting Black excellence all over the world. The Nobel Peace Prize was given to him for the world. And my mother was joking with me the other day. We was talking about the Black Business Olympics. And I was saying, Mama, I'm doing 365 days live. I'm doing 300, I'm laughing and joking. And then my mother says, so you going for the Nobel Peace Prize? Is that what you're doing for economic justice? I said, Mama, I hadn't thought about it, but that's something else I go for.
I like your mama.
As a matter of fact, I know you was reading some of the things about me, and I just today got the MLK Dreamers Award. I'm getting another a President Lifetime Achievement Award for doing work for Black people and impacting Black people all around the globe. So it's not about the awards. It's about people understanding that we have the power to do what we want to do, but we also have the challenges of not doing what we want to do. My great grandfather used to say it takes the same amount of time to do something small as it does to do something large. And so the Black Business Network, you may call it large in my head, but I think it's small compared to all the other networks that are in the world today.
But see, I don't see it like that. I see it as being large, and I see it as being large because I'm seeing people who look like me that I've never seen before from all parts of the world who are doing amazing work that they have just put their whole life energy and commitment to changing their communities, changing their families. And that's the power. The power is the numbers of people who are involved in this, what they represent, and it creates its own community. This is a community of people. Those, while we may be talking about somebody in Belize or somebody in Ghana or somebody in LA or Laos or China, wherever, it all gets smaller when you can be under one umbrella. When you have one roof that houses all these rooms, then now you're talking about a collective reasoning, collective bargaining, collective change, collective money, collective. When we start bringing ourselves together and get past all that other foolishness, this is how we need to be looking at what kind of business do you have? I need some services like this. Now it's an economic program. It's all part of that, but you have to start somewhere. And the conversations that you have on this platform, and thank you for allowing me to have even interviewed so many of these people.
Yes.
Right? That
I made sure I was talking to the people that was doing the commercial, right? And so when they was doing the commercial for the speakers, right? I told them, I said, look now, y'all make sure y'all have Marsha Jews in there because she is a revolutionary lady and she is all about Black folk all over this country. And when you begin to talk about, being under one roof, my thing is this. When other nationalities get together and do something, and then they create 20 or 30 of them. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if we had 20 or 30 Black networks around the world with the kind of technology that's out here? Because if you think about it, 10 years ago, the iPhone that we have is more powerful than the computer that they have in Washington, D.C. right now. Right. And so if you think about the opportunity that we have, when you understand that the average age in this country right now is 20 in United States is 29. Mm-hmm. In Europe is 28. In Jamaica is 27. But in Brazil is 27 also. But in Africa, the largest continent is 14.
What?
This is where everybody is. You know, when you and sometimes people don't talk about this, but Brazil has 83 million Black people. 83 million. America only has 42 million Black people. Nobody talks about these things because if you took out the time and thought about
Did you say Black? Wait a minute. Say that again. In the United States, we only have 44 million.
44 million.
In all of the United States of
in
America?
the United States of America.
What?
And in Brazil, it's 83.
Oh, that's
83. And you know, they're having a problem that nobody talks about. And I got a lady that's going to be coming on the expo. She's going to be talking about that problem. In Brazil, they act like it's all we are Brazilians, you know. But in reality, the Black population is large there, and the Black population is having the same kind of problem that we are having.
Yes.
If you notice,
racism is alive and well around the world.
Kevin Hart is doing a comedy concert in Ethiopia. And Kevin was talking about the pyramids and how we were from Africa. And do you know that the Ethiopians, this is how bad it is. The Ethiopians said that they didn't want him to come and do a comedy show because he's coming there to blackwash their history.
Wait, what? In Ethiopia?
In Ethiopia. This is how bad it is.
How can you not blackwash it if it's already black?
It's already black. You can't blackwash something that's already black. This is the continuing assault that Black people are having all around the world. And when I talk about Martin King and Marcus Musea Garvey, who people said he wanted everybody to go back to Africa, that was the narrative that everybody in the media gave. But his true narrative was really for Black people to see Black people all around the world. That's why he had the ships. Not to just take it back to Africa, but you to see Black people all around the world. And with the internet and what we're doing, we're able to allow people to see Black folk. And when you're building a business, if you're an engineer, remember the History Museum there in Washington, D.C. was done by an African architect along with Phil Freelon, who's right here in Durham, North Carolina.
Is this White the singer?
Yes, Nina Singer is his wife, and Phil just recently passed, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Very dear friend of mine. And I want you to think about what just happened. The African American Museum on our history was done by an African and an African American who joined together to do that business. How did they find each other? That is the question. And that's what the Black Business Network is doing. It's allowing people from all across the globe to find each other, to do business with each other. That's the important part. It's not about the show. It is about how we're able to come together and do business.
And it's required. You know, too often people say, and they always say it, and it makes me so tired. I can't find any. I can't find a business. I can't find somebody who does that. I have a difficult time. Well, you know what? I think that when looking at the Black Business Expo, you have everything at your disposal. And I believe you have all of this categorized by industry. Am I correct?
Yes, not only having it categorized. See, Black Business Expo USA is like a clearinghouse for Black speakers and Black events. What we post on our site, we go out on the internet. If you're doing a Black business, Black site, we put it on there because, see, what people don't know about me is this. Back in the 80s, about 1983, I was doing the Black Business Expo, and I was breaking records. Or I should say my mother was breaking records. I always take credit. My grandmother was breaking records. And so Black Expo USA, which was the leading Black expo going to 14 cities across the country, They started the Indianapolis Expo, the Chicago Expo, the Los Angeles Expo, the one in Dallas, Texas, the one in San Diego. And their one of their founders was living in Durham, North Carolina. He came to my office to meet me and ask me about coming and working with Black Expo USA across the country. So I had a chance to go across this great nation and see Black businesses. And the one thing that I realized was I couldn't do what they could do because they were a national group. And so what the Black Business Expo USA decided to do, we understand that if you're a business owner, you don't have the money that Coca-Cola has. Right. You don't have the money that Pepsi-Cola has.
And it's kind of hard to get that money. Okay, I'm sorry. That's a whole nother thing.
And so if we put all of the Black events on our website, then you as a business owner during the weekend can go to these other other events and spread your information nationally. And if you continue to see some of the events, we got events on our site that are in London, that are in Pakistan. Man, we got some Black people in Dubai. And you would say, well, Eric, how did you find them? I found them the same way that they find me, by utilizing the internet. It is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool that we use.
It is powerful. And it's powerful because the reality is that there are people who don't even know what they don't know. But this internet brings it all to life. And it speaks to us in so many different levels, and how we need to be working together. And, when you do that cross-pollination, everybody wins. We get so busy focused on who we are that we forget that there's a bigger picture. The mission is much bigger than our egos.
And that Marsha, what you said is really a ton of bricks in gold. Us working together changes things. Mm-hmm. When they say that the weakest link is the strongest link, then all of us prosper. See, what many people won't talk about is Black Wall Street. They won't talk about Durham's Black Wall Street. They won't talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma's Black Wall Street, the one in New York City, Seneca City in New York City. They won't talk about all these places, but we represent $11 trillion. $11 trillion. Now think about that for a moment. If we represent $11 trillion and we continue to take that $11 trillion and spend it with other people and don't spend it with ourselves, who's going to perish? Yes. We're going to perish. And so we got to begin to understand the importance, not only to work together and pull together, but more importantly, to love together. That's where that line is. When you see a rapper rapping about killing and you watching these rappers and thugs and all of these things, and we're not loving each other, then that's where the crack in humanity is. Humanitarianism is my lifeblood. And I just only wish that we as a people would understand how important it is to love each other, because at the end of the day, no matter what it is, we all are humans. My grandmother was a humanist, and she used to say when I was growing up, you got to treat everybody like they are a human being. Yes. We all bleed, we all die. And more importantly, we all strive to be great. And the greatness of each other changes it for all of us.
And there's greatness in all of us. And we have to accept the greatness that is within. And too often we get so busy being busy and sidetracked that we don't even realize what we have to contribute, not only to our community, but to the world. And where we are now looking at this 1, 2, 3, now we have millions of viewers looking at this expo that didn't even understand what this was really all about. And now I'm sure that, they're waiting in line trying to get a slot to do something, right?
Well, not only that, in listening to you always take me back into time, because my grandmother, think about it for a moment. My grandmother said, I want you to do a business show to bring Black businesses and white businesses together so that they can do big business. That's what she said. She was a negotiator for the AFL-CIO. She was the Black woman that worked in the plant, in the cafeteria, that would go into the meetings and convince the corporation to give a 10-cent or 15 or quarter raise, and then she would go into the plant and convince the Black people to take it, and then say, we're going to get it one step at a time. We can't get that $3, $5,
not
$10.
Tomorrow. That's right.
What we're going to do is, if y'all just allow me to keep talking to them, I will keep negotiating and negotiating. And so think about it for a moment, Marsha. Here it is, 2022. Okay. Her
2023.
legacy, excuse me, 2023.
Yes.
In 1981, she said, let's bring Black businesses and white businesses together. And here we are in 2023, and my mother is still at the helm, and I am still pushing that same envelope of progress to bring Black business and white businesses together. Just because the name says Black Business Olympics or Black Business Expo, the color of freedom is green.
So, say it again.
The color of freedom is green. So we have companies and corporations who are targeting Black businesses who can come on and sponsor what we do. Marsha, I know both of us have been talking for quite some time, but I want to know, could we take probably about a 6-minute break and honor those speakers who spoke in November?
I would love it.
And just for the viewers to actually see the kinds of speakers that we've had over the course of I would say over the course of the last 3 years. These are the speakers that spoke in November. And if you're a speaker, this is the kind of stuff that we do for you. And with no further ado, thank you so very much, Marsha Jews, as we go to another commercial break. It's about 6 minutes. So for those of you who don't know, I'll probably get some water while this goes on.
Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest Black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of black business in the world. The world! Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black Business.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black Business. I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black Business. I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black Business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black America in North Carolina. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-380-9090. I am Black Business.
Join Dr. Eric Kelly III and a host of phenomenal speakers from all around the globe for this 7-day virtual event that you don't want to miss.
The mission of the Black Business Expo is to raise scholarship money from kids all the way from high school all the way from college. The Black Business Olympics is one of the largest black business showcases in the world. It is an opportunity for businesses and companies to showcase their businesses globally. We are going to be giving away laptops up to $5,000 away to students. Again, I'm Olivia Appleberry, the founder of 2 Cents Finance and one of the speakers for the expo. I am so excited to see you there. For more info, go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090 and hope to see you there.
I am Black Business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep. Yes, I am Black Business. I am Black Business. Tell me, are you Black Business? I am Black Business. Do you support Black businesses? Listen, I support black business because I am black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of black business in the world.
Thank you so very much for allowing me to honor all of those great speakers. I know it was about 6 minutes long. I enjoyed the break myself, to be honest. But more importantly, that's what we do.
Yes.
You know, we talk to speakers all over the globe, and we give them a platform for them to share their excellence. And you know, it's really, it's just amazing to me when I think about, you know, the relationships that are being built by the many people who have been on the expo. And as I have said, you know, we want to do 365 days. And you know, last week a friend of mine said, how do you expect to do that? And I told him, I said, look, what you don't understand is if you do the numbers and you could do 24 hours live and you give each speaker 1 hour in a 12 months period. In other words, if you're a speaker and you get 12 months at, let's say, 1 o'clock, and every month at 1 o'clock, you're able to build your digital footprint.
Mm-hmm.
It only take 1,800 people to do a 24-hour, 365-day live network. And I told that person, I say, and the funny thing is, we've already done it.
Yeah.
We've shown people that we could do 2,200. So that means that even though we did it over a 3-year period, if we were to move it and have each one of our speakers to do an hour, just like having their own television show.
Right.
If they would, just like you have your show, you do it every month. I mean, every Tuesday. Let's imagine if we had 1,800 people just doing a 1-hour show. Guess what? We would be able to not only communicate with each other, but if something happened in our community, we'll be able to talk about it.
Right. Right. So you're saying that people could come and do interviews just like we're doing now, or they could have a round table, whatever that slot is. They're bringing information from their part of the world and then from their community and their organizational relationships.
Not only that, they're able to connect with people that they don't know.
Yes.
Last month, this is just very interesting. Last month, I had my anchor, or the lady who was introducing the speaker. She was from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The lady who she was introducing was from Australia.
I love
the
it.
lady that was introducing her from Jamaica has a it's called 360 Wellness Center. Okay. The lady in Australia was talking about wealth and health. Now, ask yourself, would they have ever met? Would they have ever talked? Would they have ever interacted?
Right.
That is the power of what we're doing, where you as a business owner, are you in Las Vegas, and then you're able to reach all the way to Africa and talk to somebody who's doing something similar. When you said that you had 9 interviews of people and that you're on the board, you know,
Yes.
those 9 interviews need to happen during the Black Business Olympics.
Yes.
It's like you're doing 6 o'clock on Tuesday nights.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whenever you do your other shows, but every Tuesday night, you should be coming live on our network. We're doing it over 200 countries. And for those who don't know, you're on STEM City.
Yeah.
We are broadcasting through
On
STEM City.
Yes. And I'm so grateful.
And that is what people don't understand. They don't understand that the ability and the power that we have with the technology that's here is not only imposing, but it's a dominant factor in everybody else's lives.
Right.
We have to begin to look at it like it is. the metaverse, which is the next step in the next level, we don't want to be consumers there, just as we're consumers here. And so that's the kinds of things that I think about every day and every night when I think about these Black businesses all over the world.
Well, the reality is that it takes a visionary in order for it to all work. I mean, we can sit down and talk about whatever we want to, but if you don't have somebody creating, there has to be a visionary. It has to have somebody who can see into the future what that's going to look like, right? And we have to have that. We have to start from that foundational aspect so that it is foundational and it can continue 365 days a year if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Right?
And then the other thing, Marsha, is we got to find some young people to do this work.
Yes.
But what has happened, and the reason, and this is just my reasoning, and I could be wrong, it's my opinion. And opinions, like everything else, everybody has one. But we have to find some youth to do what I am doing. Okay. Yes. But the real problem is if I'm not doing this, then this doesn't happen. So a youth can't find or look at what I am doing as an opportunity for them to build their wealth. Because think about it for a moment. I'm 66. Why did I come up with it? Why didn't a young person come up with this idea, knowing that technology is what they grew up on? Mm-hmm. I grew up on the quarter in the telephone. I grew up on the 3 television channels. And I say to people this, Marsha, that if you want to know where you're going and you want to know your future, look at your past and see.
Okay, Frederick Douglass.
You got me right. Look at your past and see what are the things that you learned in your past. Because when I tell people this, I used to be on cable television, and I was the only person covering Black events on cable television. And I was there for about 30 years. And then I was on radio for another 30 years, and I had a show called Business Worldwide and Games People Play. Did that for another 30 years. And then a good friend of mine had the only Black newspaper in town, and I was a writer for that Black newspaper. Okay. And then a friend of mine had a magazine, and I wrote for the magazine. So in my town, I was the media guy. Okay. Radio, television, newspaper, and magazine. Let's fast forward to 2023. What am I doing right now? I'm doing television, something that I learned in those days. I'm doing radio with Spotify, something I learned in those days. I'm doing magazines for all the speakers, something I learned in those days. And it seemed like it's easy to do. It is, because I was prepared for this journey to get to this moment. And I think many times we as a people, we are doing and following the follower, and we're not thinking about, okay, what are the skills that I have? What are the tools that I have? As I said before, I am an artist. The business piece came because of my grandmother. And I get tired of people saying stuff like, study one thing, learn how to do that one thing, and be the best at that one thing, and you can be wealthy. Well, the wealthy people on this planet have 6 or 7 income streams. That's what the wealthy people have, 6 or 7. We got removed.
No, I hit the wrong button. I'm trying to do you by yourself, and I hit the wrong
button. Don't leave
thing.
me out here because I'm getting ready to wrap it up. The rich people have 6 or 7, income streams. Why is it that we're always talked to do one thing? So the business acumen that I have and the art that I have, and of course I'm a scientist, a poet, a singer, dancer, all these other things. And I say to our young people, don't listen to what people say. We hear the word writer's block, right? We hear that you just have a block. And I always ask the question, my great-grandfather used to say, have you ever had an air block?
An air block.
An air block.
As in, you can't breathe anymore?
Yes, you can't breathe. He says people be talking about all these blocks, and he said it's just an excuse for incompetent people not to do something, you know. And so when I look at
I
the
got to
young
come down there and meet your family because they are a hoot.
oh, they listen. I tell people all the time, you know, I never had a poor mentality. My great grandfather was wealthy, and he would say his money is his money. And you have to do the number one thing on the planet, and that's to think. And if you think, you can get some money. But he said, don't let nobody fool you. You always got to sell something. And so that's been my mantra all my life, is to be somebody who thinks. And I tell people all the time, as he would say, you know, you got to be relentless. And many of us, we start with an idea and we wake up one day and somebody else is doing that idea because we quit on that idea. You have to understand that what you are given to do is for you, and people are watching what you're doing. Yes, Marsha, I want the Nobel Peace Prize, just like the good Dr. Martin Luther King got it, because I believe if I'm able to do 365 days where we as a people can affect economic justice, that will be my reward for being on this planet.
I love it. But you're a visionary, and visionaries are supposed to be recognized because it's not just you that is being impacted by your vision. It is the rest of the business community of these Black businesses whose lives and businesses are being changed because you had the vision and the gumption to actually make it happen. And so we're just really, really proud of you and what you do. Now, one of the things, I don't know if you see the little thing where you can type in or you want me to do it, but how should they get in touch with you if they want to be a speaker, if they want to be an advertiser, if they want to be a sponsor, there's so many different levels to what you're doing. But I know we have the Black Business Expo USA.com. But we also want to make sure that that's going to take them where you want them to go.
Well, I will type it in. It's the BBX hotline.
Okay.
You can call me after this.
Is it BBX?
BBX hotline, and that's 919.
Okay, hold
308.
919
308 9090. And I can be emailed at erickelly45.
Wait a minute. Eric Kelly
45 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And Marsha, I don't know. I know this is the first half of the 2 hours. We call this the interview.
Yes.
And of course, I'm looking forward to talking about the art because I just finished my book called Human Landscapes.
I love it. So do you have them available for us to look at, or is this going to be another show, or I got to do it on the BBX platform? Tell me what to do.
Well, what we can do is once you put up the BBX hotline, we can go to another station break. And that station break will do a spotlight on my artwork.
Great.
And then we can talk about my art because,
I love it.
That's what I do. And I understand you just went into a new gallery there, and that's got to be exciting and amazing as we look toward the future.
Yes. And it's really wonderful. It's down in Hamden. And we just opened. We're still, making it work. And it's owned by only one artist, and the work is only by that artist. His name is Loring Cornish, and it's really wonderful. But let's take the break and come back, and you'll be all set up with your artwork.
Well, not only that, I want to make sure that I'm going to play the scholarship, the scholarship first, and then I'll play the art, and then we'll come back.
Well, as long as somebody else is putting the little buckets together and the buttons, then we're good, because you don't want me being responsible for none of that.
Well, here we go.
Okay, thank you.
How many times have you been asked to help someone you didn't even know, a student, a business entrepreneur, Or did you ever even ask, where did they end up? That business, that friend, that entrepreneur. Well, just maybe they ended up in a gang, bankrupt, homeless, or worse, dead. Maybe they turned to crime, drugs, and alcohol. Did you ever wonder? Did you destroy their dream, or was your life always so easy? At the Black Business Olympics, we started a movement to help students complete. Give them hope and foster success. Help them to leave their dreams of providing laptops, computers, and up to $5,000 in scholarship funds. Today, we ask you to help a student, a business owner, or an entrepreneur to realize their dream by sponsoring them, supporting them, and buying from them. Consider this. With $1.6 trillion in our Black community, we only ask for a small donation for our students, our businesses, and our entrepreneurs. And you can change a life today. So I ask you, what are you going to do? Sit on the sidelines and watch our students in high school be leaving, miss out on their dream from lack of resources? Or are you going to donate to the movement and change their future and yours as well? Give us a call today at 919-308-9090. Change their life by investing with action to the Black Business Olympic Fund. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases of Black business in the history of the world.
Oh, wait a minute.
I am from Washington, D.C., but I was raised in Durham, North Carolina. I came to Durham when I was about 5 or 6. And then I travel back and forth to D.C. because it's where my people are from. One of the unique things about my family is my mother, she's also an artist. She does quilting. And she does a lot of artistic things. And then my son, he draws with both hands, his right hand and his left hand like I do. So that's kind of a family trait. And then my other son, he's a videographer, and my daughter, she works, she's a regional vice president for Sunglasses. When you start out drawing and sketching, you want to continue to explore, each avenue. I do pastels, I do pen and ink, I do painting, I do acrylics. I haven't done oils yet, but I try to do all facets of art. What I say to a lot of times to people is, you can't put yourself in a box when you're an artist. You have to explore. And over the course of my life, I've tried to explore different mediums. I also do sculpture as well. I choose my subjects by the intensity that they have in their faces or the intensity that somebody is moving, because I do more than portrait drawings. I also do I do abstract, and then I do figurative drawing also. Well, what happened in this particular show is that I started out trying to come up with something that would be a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. So I was working on a Barack Obama show, and they wanted me to do some paintings of Barack. And so what I did was, because of the deadlines, I kind of did it kind of fast. And then I realized when I was doing it fast, I enjoyed it. And so then I started doing other pieces the same way, and I started to enjoy those pieces also. And so I came up with this particular style, and it's a style of lines and colors. And what's interesting is that when I was in college, I did a show called Lines, Colors, and I talked about the boldness of the blacks, the hotness of the whites, and this is how this has come about, later on in my life. And the colors comes from a lot of the entertainers that I work with. where they wear different colors. They don't wear, your plain reds or your whites. They wear different colors, and so that's also another piece of what's giving me the colors. The subtitle of this show is Faces That Speak Life. That's real critical. Faces that speak life. Each one of these pieces is a life source and a life energy that's being put on display for people that are looking at them. I always say in terms of my art, it's not important that I draw them. It's important what you get out of what I draw. I don't try to just draw it because you like it. People wanted me to do prints. I didn't do prints. People asked me to do different people, but the people that I choose are people that make a difference in the lives of people in the world. So the human landscape idea was, again, as I say, the lines represent your emotions, it represents your ideas, and it represents your journey as a human being. And that's why you get the different pieces and the different looks. And as you notice, I try not to do one look that looks alike another look. And that's what's the most important part of this show.
I love it. You are so talented. And the thing that is just fascinating to me is how you make the movement is really how those faces are actually moving. So your lines are going with the facial movement. They're very powerful.
It's called human landscapes. I believe that everybody, when you look at their face, has a uniqueness and a original feel and flavor of their face. And that's what I try to capture. And then the colors, and this is the piece that many people don't get sometimes. The colors that I use are representing different kind of emotions that are reflected from your face. See, when I hear music, I see colors. When I'm quiet in my quiet time, I see colors. And so what I work to do is to create something that's going to give us a feel and a flavor of of how I feel about that person. And in that video earlier, I was talking about how many people wanted me to do several different kinds of pieces of and several different kinds of folk. I choose people that I think are not only relevant, but people who are doing things that really matter. I have pieces. I got Malcolm X. I got Muhammad Ali. I got Tyler Perry. But none of these pieces look exactly like them. They're not portraits that are copying them. They are the human landscape and the fiber and the flavor of those folk. And so that's pretty much what I do. And this style that I'm doing is an original style. And I'm just glad that I get an opportunity to talk about my art.
Well, and your art is fascinating, actually. For you to be able to pull out and give those distinctive lines around the eyes and around the mouth, and it just brings it almost into like a three-dimensional piece of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
And the
so,
other
so how did you get to that point where the lines became important? Was there something that occurred for that? Because it's enunciating every feature that they have.
Well, if you live in Durham, North Carolina, the thing that you're under is the shadow of Ernie Barnes. And so Ernie Barnes, for those who don't know, is the guy who did Marvin Gaye's Sugar Shack on the front cover. He's the guy who drew for Ernie Barnes, and he is a world-renowned artist. So if you live in Durham, you're going to hear about Ernie Barnes. I, when I first started drawing, Ernie Barnes was not the guy that I emulated. The guy I emulated was a guy by the name of Charles White.
Yes.
Charles White out of Cleveland, Ohio, but later went to Los Angeles to study. I was on tour in college, and I went to, I think it was the 200 Centuries of African American Art or African art, one or the other. And I walked into a room, and on that room was this giant mural. and I was on tour with the art department here in North Carolina, and my art teacher, Mr. Carlisle and Mr. Mason, and I was just like blown away because what people don't realize about artists, they have their own distinct fingerprint. When
Yes.
they draw something, that's what it is. It is their fingerprint. It is their life's energy being put on that canvas or on that piece of paper. And I stood there and looked at this giant mural, and my teachers were saying it looks just like your work. And at that moment, I even have another thing that's really interesting. When I was in college, I was working with Donald Byrd in 125th Street. I was the choreographer for the 125th Street band, and they have an album cover where Charles White did a little lithograph on that album cover. And I was doing a sculpture piece, and the sculpture piece was the same identical flavor as the album cover. The album cover had a guy looking up into the sky, and I was doing a sculpture piece of me actually looking up into the sky. And so that whole Charles White flavor and energy has always been in me. And so, with that being said, I wanted to try to figure out how I could do something that was not Ernie Barnes and that was not Charles White and was not Michelangelo or Rubens and all these other guys. And I studied the market. I looked at what people were doing. And as I said on the video, I had to do 45 Barack Obamas. And so I had to do some paintings real fast to add to the show. And that's how this all came about. And once it came, then I started going in deep because I've always been the guy with the pencil. My son says I cheat when I use pencil. He says it's not fair. And what I tell people all the time that many people don't know, the first apparatus or the first thing that I got when I was like 4 years old in church was an ink pen. And even today, it's something about that ink pen. I think it's that if you make a mistake, you got to start over a flavor, but it's something about that ink pen to this day that I truly love. And so these lines that you see are lines that are shaping the energy of the emotion that's coming from that particular piece. The piece that you see behind me now is called Smile. And I utilize the yellow and the purple. I mean, it's not purple, that color is fuchsia, and the red and the light green to bring out the happiness and the tones that people feel when they're smiling. And for those who actually get a chance to see this piece, her hair is actually a darkish green. And so it is what I do. I love it. I got 3 pieces that I'm finishing for my book, and the name of my book is Human Landscapes, and it's going to be on Audible, where you can actually see that book. And I do have a gentleman right now who's taking my work, my catalog, and he's creating a video, and you're going to be able to hear me speak. I mean, hear the words being spoken about who I am, what I've done on a video while you're watching it. It's back in the and I talk about this sometimes, but back in the 80s, I did quit school. I quit school because all of my teachers that I came to see went on to white schools because there was more money. I was upset because I chose them because they were the best Black artists in the country. And so when I quit school, I was in Birmingham, Alabama. And while I was in Birmingham, Alabama, I was dancing, and I created something that was similar to the music video. And so when I moved back to Durham to go back to school, I started doing filming. And so with me doing filming, I started filming my work. And so I've held on to my catalog for over 50 years. And with that catalog, I'm able to showcase art that's being done by me. And I hate to say by me because, some people would say, well, Doc, you're talking about your work, and I'm sure you love your work. Yes, I love my work, but the most important thing about my work is when I can give joy and glory to those who see it.
And that's really the real issue, that you can take what you've done and people can see your spirit on that, on whatever that canvas is it canvas or paper?
It's
It
on it's on canvas.
on canvas.
It's acrylic on canvas. The size is 30 by, I think it's 30, it's 3 feet by, I want to say 4 feet. It might be, no, it's 3 feet by 6 feet, or three
Okay.
feet by one of
Oh,
those.
that's huge.
Yes, look at my hands. Look, it's
That's
bigger than me.
so now, do you sell your art or is it for the museum?
Well, it's for anybody who has money. Let's be clear. I'm not gonna sit around here and say that I just want all my work to be sitting in my house. One of the things that happened to me when I was 4, my great grandfather walked into my bedroom, and I was living with him. He had this 2-story house, and a lot of the family was staying in his house. And so he walked in my house and he said, "I want you to be a lawyer." Every day we would walk from Scarborough Nursery School home, and we would stop by the courthouse because it was downtown. Scarborough was right behind, kind of proximity to the courthouse, and it was his thing. And so we would go in the courthouse and we would sit in there. I didn't know what was going on, but I would just be in there looking, and you know how you do as a kid. And so he walks in my room with these big heavy books and said, "I want you to be a lawyer." But being raised by a grandmother who said I could be anything I wanted to be, I said, "No, I want to be an artist, Grandpa." I mean, Papa. His name was Papa. I said, "I want to be an artist, Papa." And then he said, "Well, every family needs a lawyer," and he just walked on out. Then he came, then he came back in and he said, that's what he did. He came back in and he said, "Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to be a lawyer, or are you going to be an artist?" I said, "Papa, I'm going to be an artist." And he said, "Well, if you want to be an artist, have you started drawing yet?" And of course, I go around to my bed, I pull out my little papers, and I show him the work. And he said, "Oh, you sure this is really what you want to do?" I said, "Yes, sir." And so now I'm thinking I'm getting off easy because, I just saw my little paperwork. I saw them big books. I done took the big books, put them over there, and put me a board on top of the big books. I done turned the books into me a drawing board, right? And so then he comes back into the room a month later, and he says, "If you're going to be an artist, we're going to start a museum. And we're going to start this museum in my hallway." And I'm looking at him like, what in the world is a museum? Never heard of it.
I
And
love
so
it.
then what he proceeded to do is he said, "You got to put your work on the wall." So, I'm a kid. I get me a little hammer and I'm my paperwork. I'm just nailing on the wall, just nailing everything on the wall. So you walk in the house and I got my drawings going down the wall. They're looking crazy. Now I just want you to know, they're looking crazy. The more I think about it, I can, when you talk about it, you can kind of see what was going on.
I love it.
It's looking all crazy on the wall, right? So my great grandfather, he comes into my bedroom. He said, "Come on, let's go." Now I told you he was a pretty wealthy guy, so anytime he said "let's go," the world stopped when Papa said "let's go," because
That's right.
it's time to go.
Right.
He took me to a museum here in Durham, and I walked in the museum, and he was showing me what a museum looked like. And then we got in the car and he drove to DC, and we went to 2 other museums. And so now I'm exposed to what a museum is. So when I come home, I take everything off of the walls, everything. Take the hammer, I'm pulling everything off. And then I started going to Goodwill to find me some frames.
I
So
love it.
now I framed everything and put it on the walls. And my great grandfather came in and he said, "That's what I'm talking about." And then he said, "Now I got to tell you a secret." And I said, "What, Papa?" He said, you got to keep this secret, but I got to tell you this secret." And he said to me, and I hold this to my heart to this day. He said, don't give your work away. Do not just hand it away. He said that sell only to collectors. He said collectors will buy it, collectors will protect it, and collectors will preserve it. He said when you give your work away to all these people that's going to like your work, they're not going to know where it is. They're not going to care about it. And this is the secret that I want you to keep. And so when you ask that question, is it for sale? Collectors only. And I'm going to tell you, Marshall, you know, when you're growing up as a young man and you're meeting girls and you're meeting friends and you're doing this and you're doing that, I can in my head see pieces of artwork that slipped through my fingers because I was trying to be a good guy to a nice woman. There was a piece that I did. I'm telling you, there was a piece that I did. It was you remember the Jane Pittman story?
Yes.
Okay, so the Jane Pittman story was they
Miss
had this
Jane Pittman.
Yes, Miss Jane Pittman. And they had this poster in the newspaper, and it was Miss Jane Pittman sitting in a rocking chair down with a tree, a big tree up over her. She was sitting in the shade, and in the tree, there were three different faces because when you saw that movie, it showed you Miss Jane Pittman from when she was a young lady to a middle-aged lady and an older lady. Okay, it was in black and white. I took pen and ink and I drew that picture. Oh my goodness. And so I met this lady who was a good friend of mine, and she said she just loved that picture. And so I took it to her house so that she could have it. Girl, I have not seen that picture since. and another piece I did on Donald Byrd. And Donald Byrd, I was in college. Her and Donald Byrd are the only two people who really got me. Donald Byrd said, after I did this picture of him playing his trumpet, he said, yeah, I need to take that for my mother to see it. I said, okay, Mr. Byrd. Girl, that's another piece I haven't seen. And so when I learned through all of those things is, if you're not paying for it, you cannot get it. And my great grandfather used to say, put the price on it that you feel like it's worth and live with that price, because at the end of the day, you know what you did to do the work that you're doing. And so that's been kind of my life here because, when we talked earlier, we talked about business. Business has afforded me to draw and paint every day. Art has afforded me to do business. I can think about my life as a young man every time I needed some money and something was going wrong, whether it was business or art, one or the other would bring me some money. I would sell a piece of art. In my book, which is called Human Landscapes, no, that's the subtitle. It's called the Eric Kelly Museum. And people can actually go to my website, which is, I thought I had typed it in. I'll type it in later.
Say it, I'll type it.
It's the erickellymuseum.org. They can go to www.erickellymuseum.org and see a lot of my work for the last 10 years is there. Because this style that I created is a new style.
No, I spelled your name wrong. Hold on, go ahead. I'm gonna have to do it again.
And I would like to say to everybody that's listening, if you have something deep down inside that you want to do, don't let people tell you can't do it. Don't let people say that their vision of who you are is your vision of who you are. And so this is how I came to be the guy I am and be an artist. In my catalog, I have catalog work from the 60s all the way up to the 2023, as I have 3 other pieces that I'm going to finish. And then I created another idea where I'm not using white lines at all. I am just using color, black canvases with color.
Oh, wow.
That is, I've only done, I think, 3 pieces, but that is another interesting thing. And I'm a scientist. I be trying stuff. I be trying to do what I want to do with that paintbrush because I love it.
Yes, it's your passion. One of your passions. You have several.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, my poetry CDs, for those who go to my website, you can also buy those. And I tell people, if you're not selling, you're not gelling. So you need to be
Wait,
selling.
what is gelling? What do you mean? You're not selling, you're not gelling. What is
You're
that?
not- that means that you're not making money. You're not
Oh,
earning
oh,
money.
oh, oh.
You're not
Okay, okay.
selling. You're not gelling. You're
Gelling.
not earning
Okay.
that money.
All
That
right.
clickety clack, the stuff that makes you
Clickety clack.
that clickety clack.
Some dirt.
That's making you have, when you get to, I know people gonna say, that guy must be a schizophrenic. Now I know we just talked to that guy and he was talking about business, he was so serious. Now we're talking about his art and that smile on his face when he's talking about that
It's a
art.
whole new
Oh
world.
my God, I love it. I love it. I think one of the things that happens in our lives is we don't understand sometimes who we are.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to have parents who told me every day that I could do anything I wanted to do. I was lucky enough when I said what I wanted to do, they pushed me in that direction. I can remember when I was singing in the choir and John P. Key was getting ready to go to Charlotte. And me and John were very good friends. And I was thinking about going to Charlotte with John because I knew John was going to be the next thing. But deep down in my heart, I was saying, well, if you go with somebody else and follow their dream, what's going to happen to your dream of being an artist? And one of the biggest mistakes that I think happens when you are young is that when you don't have people thinking that you can do multiple things because they've been told to work on one thing and be the best at that, sometimes you miss out. Because I could have been a lawyer.
Yes.
I could have been a singer. I could have been a poetess. I could have been, well, I am an artist, so I ain't gonna say what that because I am that.
Yeah.
I could have been several different things, but in my mind, because of the way I was raised, you want to grab on to one thing that you can do the very best and then work on being the very best at it. And unfortunately for me, I've been a revolutionary and I've broken out of that mode. But what I would say to people, you have to experiment with all the things that you might want to do because you never know that something that you might try, it might be the thing that you might just desire the rest of your life.
Yes. Well, see, the thing that's really interesting in that, well, this is a little different from what you were saying, but it's about the passion. When I graduated from high school a bazillion years ago, right? At the graduation, I don't know if I told you this, but at the graduation, everybody was getting their awards, and it was called Most Likely to Succeed, Best Dressed, Best, all of that. And I went to John Adams High School, and we were the second generation of Black people in our enclave that integrated John Adams High School, right? And so, I was fine with my little community, but I go wherever I want to go. I don't care what y'all can have whatever your problem is, because you're gonna have to deal with this, because I ain't changing. And at the end of that graduation, about the middle of the awards, I got most talkative. My mother was mortified, but look at me now. I've been talking and all over the world talking, and so
That's what
and here we are.
That's what we were talking about early on. You were being prepared for this moment in time.
Yes,
Because if
moments such as these.
Yeah, if you had a being recluse, or if you was shy and said, well, that's not really for me. I tell people all the time, you don't know what's for you.
Yes.
You think you know what's for you, don't know what's for you. Think about it for a moment.
Right.
The guys that invented the airplane, they had a bicycle shop. They didn't have no airplane shop. They had a bicycle shop. Who would have thought that the guys with the bicycle shop was going to be the guys that invented the daggone airplane?
Isn't that something? But
You
it
know,
was
so
the movement that they liked.
there you go. There you go. And that's what I say about what we do these days.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we allow other people to tell us what our vision is and tell us who we are. Sometimes we follow the followers, and sometimes we just don't give back and serve each other to figure out how can we serve each other to help them get where they're going.
Mhm.
You know, I remember earlier today when me and you was talking and you was asking me for information and asking me for information, and all the while you was asking me for information, I immediately started working on information because I'm an advertising guy and I understood what you needed. I know you didn't have time, so I said, well, let me do my part. That is what
Yes,
we as
it's
Black people
teamwork.
do.
It's
We
teamwork.
begin to understand when you do stuff like that together,
Mhm.
it makes it better for all people, not just
Yes.
Black people, but for all people.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You know, I think too often we don't really understand when we see something, the possibilities, and you can't look at it in a myopic manner. You have to go in with your mind open to receive. And if you keep your mind open and think about the possibilities being infinite,
Mhm.
then it allows you to come, to go, to grow, to learn, to be. But you can't do that if you're closed and if you're tentative. And sometimes it just takes that boldness. Sometimes it just says, I got to open this door. I've got to
Mhm.
open this door, because the reality is if you don't open that door, and at 70 years old or 80 years old, you'll sit and say, I wish I had, I wish I coulda, woulda, shoulda.
And that hurt. You know, Marsha, that's really the thing that hurts. You
Mhm.
know, there's an old story that the guy was laying in his bed and he was about to die, and all of his talents were standing around him, and each one of his talents was looking down on him, and each talent was saying stuff like, if you had to use me, you could have done this. If you had to use
Mhm.
me, you could have done this. If you had to used me, you could have done this.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I just hope that people who got a chance to see this 2 hour special, the Eric Kelly the third 2 hours special.
Eric Kelly, I'm gonna do it for 2 hours, whether you like it or not, Kelly.
Oh, what you said was two,
I know, I'm just messing with you.
but the Eric Kelly the third special. I hope that something was said that allows you to see the the difference in
Mhm.
life. You
Mhm.
know, 1 minute you're watching a businessman, the next minute you're watching an artist. Okay, how do both of those exist in one body?
Coexist.
Coexist. And what I say to people, it's just like your brain. You got a left side, you got a right side.
That's
Got a right
exactly right.
hand, you got a left hand. Okay.
Yes.
Think about this for a moment. Why do you have two ears and one mouth?
Mm.
Two eyes, two, everything else is twos. Well, those two ears are to listen to what's going on around you. And two eyes are to see the things that are happening. And that one mouth is to express what you feel, what you see, and what you're going to do to change the lives of people around you, not yourself. Because if you notice, I worked very hard not to talk about me, except for one time when I talked about that award I got. But I always
As
tell,
you well should.
yeah, I always tell people, if you can find something that changes the lives and the spirits of other people, and you can do it, then your living, as my grandmother would say, is not in vain.
That's right.
Because it's easy for us to say, okay, Dr. Kelly, you got the doctor in front of your name. What was you when they called you Kelly? What was you when they called you Eric? What was you when they called you your various nicknames? I'm still the same person. That's why when people ask me to do stuff and I'm available, I show up, because showing up is 80% of the battle.
That's right.
And you just never know. Somebody might be sitting at home and say, you know what, I like that picture, but I like to see something else. And when you see my catalog, Marsha, as I was saying earlier, that
Yes.
catalog is pretty extensive. So I
Oh,
got
great.
anything that you anything that you like. I probably got something in there for you to choose from. And if I don't, I think that one of my talents is sitting down, listening to what you're saying, and creating what you're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what my talent is. I use that both in business and I use it in art as I do visionary strategy meetings with business owners so that we can identify what their vision is. I'm not in it to work, but if we can identify your vision, then we can look at the number 1, 2, or 3 person in your industry that's doing what you're doing, and then we can mirror what they are doing and kill all the mistakes that you're going to make because you want to be cute and you want to do it your way. And so that's one of the things that I've always been able to do. So when you look at this piece over my shoulders, I'm not going to tell you who is my model for that piece, but the model for that piece is a very famous young lady. She plays the piano, and that's all I'm going to give, because I don't want nobody to say, well, you drew this picture of me, it's a likeness of me, and so you need to pay me. See, these are the kinds of things that we've turned into. But what I've done is I have not given any names. So
right, and we'll not do that on this show.
I would not do that ever. So you don't know if that's Sabrina. You don't know if that's Shirley. You don't know if that's
and I don't want to know. I just like her. She looks good behind you.
Well, I tell you what I am going to do, because you've had me on your show. I am going to make some prints and I'll send you a print.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. But I want us to focus on the fact that you have all of these beautiful pieces in your own museum in Durham. Isn't that correct?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We've shut down since COVID-19.
Okay.
But we do have the Eric Kelly Museum, and in the Eric Kelly Museum, we have tons of artwork.
Okay.
I would say we probably have over 2,000 pieces of artwork.
Wow.
Yeah. When I say this to people, they don't hear me when I say this. I got a catalog. I have pieces that I did in high school because I followed my great grandfather's legacy. I followed what he said. Now, you think about it for a moment, Marsha. Say that I'm this talented artist.
Yes.
Okay. And I drew every now and then because I like to do it and it's a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was doing it, I'm giving pieces of artwork away to people because I'm not respecting that the work is valuable.
Right.
Okay. Let's say somebody knocks on my door and want a piece of my artwork or want me to do a show. Okay. Would I be able to do a show? No, because I haven't done any work. I've taken all the work and given it away. Okay. That's what my grandfather was saying to me back in 1960. He was saying, look, protect the work, save the work, sell to collectors only. Put the price on that you feel like it's real. And so that's what I did. You know, this piece behind me, you can't get it for less than $30,000. You know, people are like, what? Hold on. A man that died by the name of John Basquiat sold a piece $110 million. He did.
Yes.
And I say to people,
and his sisters are still handling their business.
Yes. But this is the thing, Marsha. Can you go back to 1992 when he did that painting? So if I got pieces that were done in 1992, what is the value of those pieces?
Yes.
You know, that's the part that people don't want to talk about because everybody wants to say, well, you know, it's art and you know, you're going to be a starving artist. That's it, telling people that you're going to be a starving artist. And I didn't want to go this route, but I know we got a few minutes. I want to say this. I was told that I was going to be a starving artist when I got to college. My instructor was a failed artist.
Wow.
Who was a teacher, and he was my counselor, and he told me I was going to be a starving artist. And he convinced me, or better yet, I convinced me after hearing that so many times that I was going to be a starving artist. So I changed my major to advertising because he told me advertising, I could write my own ticket. Okay. But I didn't listen to him totally because I never stopped drawing. But once you get older and you understand that if every piece of artwork that I've ever drawn on a piece of paper or anywhere, if I sold it for $1, I would have been a starving artist.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that for a moment.
Right.
The fact that, see, I tell people sometimes everybody is not a leader for you in your life. And sometimes leadership is bad leadership.
Yeah.
Because I look at
everybody can't lead.
And so I look at my life and I look at all the work that I've done and I think about the stuff that I've done. And I have only one regret, and that regret was not understanding that if you're the number one artist in your space, you have an art scholarship, why would you move toward another space and do that? Sometimes we listen to people and we follow their leadership. But fortunate for me, I did not follow that leadership to the point where I said, I'm not going to draw and I'm not going to paint, and I'm going to create my own style. And fast forward to the day I did that. So no matter what happens at the end of the day, I am just so elated and so happy that I got the opportunity to live this life and do the work that I've done.
And all of your good work speak for you. And thank you, Eric Kelly. Thank you. And so when does the Business Expo, Black Business Expo kick off?
Well, it kicks off January the 16th through the 22nd.
Okay.
Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday is the first one. We're doing 12. I have the dates for all of them. So for those who see this broadcast, all you got to do is pause it and go back. I'm going to give you all of those dates before I get out of here.
Okay.
And then, of course, February the 14th through the 19th is the second one. March 13th through the 20th is the third one. April 17th through the 23rd.
Wait a minute. You're moving to, I can't type that fast. March what?
Oh, I didn't know you were typing.
Yes,
March
I'm typing it.
13th through the 20th is the second one. I mean, the third one. Okay. April 17th through the 23rd is the fourth one. May 22nd through the 28th is the fifth one. June 19th through the 20th is the sixth one. Then in July,
yes,
in July 17th through the 23rd, August 21st through the 27th, September 18th through the 24th, October 16th through the 22nd.
October 16th through the 27th.
22nd.
22nd. All right. 16th through the 22nd.
And then November the 13th through the 19th.
November 13th through the 19th.
And then the big December, the 11th through the 17th.
11 to the 17th. I think I messed up something here. May, June. I got to add. June is from June to what?
19th through the 21st.
21st.
I mean, the 20th. Excuse me, the 20th.
20th. June 19th through the 20th. And then July is the 17th. Hold on one second. July. Wait a minute. Hold on, babe. July is the 17th through the 23rd.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And then I just want to make sure, because I think they were running on top of each other. At least I wanted to have it in here so people would know. And they have everything. So I'm going to do it so it makes sense. And then there, it just went on its own. But I think that all of the dates are pretty close together, so they'll figure it out. All right. So any other last words? They can get in touch with you through Eric Kelly
Dates up?
Museum.
Did you put the dates up there?
Yeah, June.
They never came on the screen.
Oh, I didn't put them on this screen. I put them on the little side thing.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, you can get.
So you can, but here's what I could do. I can get it and put it on, we'll put it up someplace else. If you wanted to do it like the ticker, is that what you're talking about?
That's what I thought you were doing, but this fine.
I don't know how to do that.
That's all right. But I can tell you this.
Okay.
They can go to my website.
Right.
At erickellymuseum.org and
Yes.
get all the information.
Okay.
For the Black Business Olympics, they can go to my website and get all the information.
Black Business Expo
USA. It's up there on the screen right
Yep.
there. See it?
Yep.
They can
Black
get there
Business Expo
and
USA.
see all of my information.
Okay. That's
And,
wonderful.
and some of those famous people say, Marsha, all they got to do is Google me. You can Google me. If you Google me, it'll take you over here or over there, around here, around there, but it'll take you to me wherever I'm at.
All right. So this is also .com, correct?
The museum is Eric Kelly.
Okay, go ahead.
Eric Kelly Museum is .org. Black Business Expo USA is .com.
Okay, very good. All right, sir. So we will be in touch with you to get all of the lay of the land. Go up to your website and contact folks is all up there so people will know what to do and how to work it out and get involved and make certain you reserve your space to speak. You need to be a speaker. And then you've got a whole advertising and sponsorship package going on too. So they can do all that.
Yeah, we have all of that. I just didn't want to go in, my lawyer was talking to me the other day. I know we about out of here. And he said that, sometimes when we tell everything, it gets a little confusing.
Okay.
We do have sponsorship packages for companies and corporations who do want to sponsor. We have day sponsorships and we have title sponsorships and all of that good stuff. But I didn't want to just kind of break that stuff down. Just want for those who are interested in what we're doing to give us an email or give us a call. And I just want to say to you, Marsha, thank you so very much for allowing me to come on your platform and have a conversation with you about my life.
And I'm grateful that you took the time out of your busy schedule, because this is a busy time of the year for you, to sit down and not only share your vision, but to show us what the culmination of that vision has meant for the world. So thank you, Dr. Eric Kelly III.
And thank you, Marsha, the beautiful one, Jews.
All right, baby. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, genius is coming.
Genius is coming.
And I'll see you on the other side.
All right, baby. All right. Thank you all for paying attention tonight and taking the time to watch and actually send folks copies. The link, you can get the WKIM Media Network YouTube. Go up there and you can take the link and show it and share it. Of course, get in touch with me if you need to, and so we can talk about how to get you involved in some of this stuff. So I think you all know how to get in touch with me, but we're going to put WKIM Media Network at Marsha Jews at Gmail. So thank you so much for spending time with us and hanging out. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back with you next week with yet another incredible guest. This is Marsha Jews for We Keep It Moving. Thank you.
Prepare for what's coming and dominate in economic winter. Stand strong and thrive by showcasing your great products and services globally through the Black Business Network and Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Network has showcased over 2,000 companies with over $7 billion in sales each year. Over 10 million attendees have viewed the rebroadcast each month. Through the Black Business Olympics, Unique styles of business training and mentoring are turning students into business owners and entrepreneurial warriors who will dominate in any economy. Gain the ultimate advantage of the Black Business Olympics, 7 days of unbelievable topics and speakers speaking around the globe. Donate your time and experience to provide expertise and scholarships to students worldwide and change the world. Now, more than ever, new insights, tools, strategies, and capabilities are needed. This is your chance for a major presentation to the world. Fill out the form and join the more than 2,000 speakers who have presented to over 200 countries. Join the Black Business Network streaming live into the Metaverse, STEM City, Black Multiverse Enterprises, Hulu, Amazon, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pod TV, IBM TV, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Sign up today. Spaces are limited, and we will see you there.